Hello everyone, I hope all is well and fine.
We are the group that will be discussing about the Food and Beverage Department.
I'm Triksha Kanlapan and I'll be tackling about the overview and main functions of the Food and Beverage Department.
I am Laline Andrea Abelido and I am the one to discuss the organizational structure of an F&B department.
I am Will Baqueras and I will be also discussing the organizational structure of Food and Beverage Department.
I am Albert Baguio, assigned to tackle about the job descriptions in the Food and Beverage Department of a hotel.
I'm Kenneth Apor and I will be tackling about the job description in the Food and Beverage Department as well.
Ready yourselves as we start to discuss about the Food and Beverage Department in a hotel. So what is a Food and Beverage Department? This department is a part of a hotel that manages foods and beverages. This department is divided into two sections, and those are Food and Beverages Product and Food and Beverages Services. Food and Beverage Department becomes the second profit source of a hotel. Moving forward to the main functions of this department. So the main function from this department is Food and Beverages Product as a major of producing foods and beverages in the hotel and has duties in producing, serving, and selling food and beverages to the guests in the hotel. They are in control of food production, food service, and support services, such as producing all kinds of materials required for production and service, ensures adequate level of stock required by the production and service department at all items, and cleans kitchen and service equipment. While according to Bartono, which is an author of books pertaining to hotels, Food and Beverage Department is a department which has a duty in producing and providing food and beverages to be consumed for the guest who wants to stay and also for the public who wants to buy. Besides, this department also is responsible for the quality of foods and goodness of service in the restaurant.
The organizational structure of Food and Beverage Department provides a clear picture of the lines of authority and channels of communication within the department. The organizational structure of Food and Beverage Department actually differ from one hotel to another, so it is depending on the size of the hotel. There are actually large, medium, and small hotel. However, we cannot find any trusted source for an example of organizational structure of a medium hotel. So today we will only be discussing the organizational structure of a large and a small hotel. In a large hotel, the department is headed by the Food and Beverage Director, who is assisted by the respective outlet manager or assistant food and beverage manager. As we can see in the picture or in the graph, there are actually 5 outlets under the assistant food and beverage manager. We have the room service manager, bar manager, banquet manager, restaurant manager, and chief steward. Okay, let's start with the room service manager. So under this position is the room service captain, and under the room service captain is the order taker. Under the order taker is the room service waiter or waitress. And the last position here is the trainees. Another outlet in the Food and Beverage Department is the bar manager. And under the bar manager is the bartender. And under the position of a bartender is the bar waiter or waitress. Next is the banquet manager. So under the position of the banquet manager, there is an assistant banquet manager. Under this position is the banquet captain. And under the banquet captain are the banquet waiters or servers. And under the servers are the trainees. Another is the restaurant manager. The restaurant manager is assisted by the assistant restaurant manager, and under the assistant restaurant manager is the restaurant captain, And under this position is the restaurant waiter or servers, and under the servers are the trainees. And lastly is the chief steward. So the chief steward is assisted by the steward supervisor, and under the steward supervisors are the stewards.
Now let's talk about the organizational structure of food and beverage in a small hotel. Now, the responsibility of food and beverage services staff is to build the exact experience that the guests need. The department is divided by room service captain, bar beverage supervisor, banquet manager, and restaurant manager. Let's start with the room service manager. It is in charge to ensure that the food and beverage department's cultural establishment's values and core expectations are met. Staffing, budgeting, and scheduling help to keep labor costs under control, as well as taking care of guest complaints and making or providing special requests. And under the room service manager is the order taker, followed by room service waiter or waitress and trainees. Next is the bar or beverage supervisor. It is in charge to forecasting the regular flow of customers, managing and tracking bar inventory as it moves from store to store, along with keeping track of all forms of beverage sales and cleaning and tendering duties that are assigned. Under the bar and beverage supervisor is the bartender and bar waitress or waiter. Next up is the banquet manager. It is in charge of setting a banquet service standard, budget forecasting, and allocation for different forms of activities such as conventions, workshops, and so on, including departmental meetings and menu planning and pricing. Under the banquet manager is the banquet captain, banquet waiters, servers, and trainees. Now lastly, we move on to the restaurant manager. The restaurant manager is in charge of the overall operation of the restaurant. The employer's responsibilities include managing the dining room task, material ordering, stock taking or inventory checking. Then, they're also in charge of supervising, recruiting, grooming and assessing subordinates, creating staff and sales reports, together with budget management and taking care of daily sales and coordinating with cashiers. Okay, so under the restaurant manager is the restaurant captain, followed by restaurant waiter or service and trainees.
Now, let's proceed to the list of some jobs under the F&B department under duties and responsibilities. The Food and Beverage Department won't able to function effectively and efficiently without these important people who manage and provide crucial insights into the overall customer experience. First is the restaurant manager, who is overseeing the efficient running and profitability of restaurant and for managing their employees. One of the major roles of restaurant manager is to create a positive atmosphere among team members and treats all fairly with respect. Second is the head waiter or the restaurant captain, who always greet and welcome guests in a friendly manner and always thank and give farewell to the guests as well. Its major role is he or she could able to oversee the unexpected guest concern as well as their needs. Third is the hostess or the maitre d' hotel, the reception. Generally, we call them as receptionists. It is a lady who in charge in receiving guests and assisting them into the particular table. She also updates booking diary and passes relevant information to the restaurant brigade and manager.
Fourth is waiter and waitress. They ensure that all guests are served to the hotel's standard in the restaurant. Waiter and waitress job description should contain the following duties and responsibilities, such as deliver checks and collect payments, cooperate and communicate with all serving and kitchen staff, adhere to all relevant health department rules and regulations and all customer service guidelines. Lastly is busboy and assistant waitress. They also ensure that all guests are served to the hotel's standard in the restaurant. Busboy and assistant waitress job description should contain the following duties and responsibilities, such as greets guests and presents them with menu, informs guests about the special items for the day and menu changes if any, suggests food and beverage to the guest, and also try to upsell.
Food and Beverage Manager or the Director, who is responsible for planning, forecasting, executing food and beverage orders, and process customer complaints patiently. Second is the Assistant F&B Manager, who is assigned work tasks to restaurant and kitchen staff, and he also documents staff attendance and observe company standards. Third is the Room Service Manager, who is overseeing all aspects of the daily operation of the hotel's room service operation and supervise all room service personnel. Fourth is the Room Service Captain, who is occasionally take room service orders by telephones and by the in-room ordering guests from the apps and other devices. Fifth is the order taker, who is responsible in assisting customers with menu selection, recommendation, and taking accurate food orders in a friendly and hospitable manner. Sixth is the room service waiter or waitress, who is responsible in setting tables and trays according to type of food ordered and serves guests food and beverage orders in prompt and courteous manner. Next, we have here the bar manager, who manage business aspects of the bar, such as keeping a current liquor license, negotiating suppliers' contracts, taking inventory, reordering supplies, managing budgets, and setting goals. Then we have here the bartender, who is responsible in preparing alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages for bar and restaurant patrons, and interact guests with his or her marvelous bartending skills, such as mixing different alcohols.
Next, we have bar waiters and waitress. They are responsible for taking beverage orders and serve them to guests on a timely manner. Next, we have banquet manager. They are the one who negotiate contracts, assist in the selection of menu items, schedules banquet staff, arranges for facilities and equipments, and communicate customer needs to the appropriate personnel. Next, we have assistant banquet manager. They are responsible for setup, execution, breakdown, and proper storage of equipments of all banquet functions. Next, we have banquet captain. They are responsible for supervising the staff, operations, and guests of banquet experiences at restaurants, hotels, or private functions. Next, we have banquet waiters and waitress. They are responsible for the prompt, courteous, smooth, and efficient service of food and beverage to guests during banquet and outdoor functions. Next, we have chief steward. They are the one who supervises and coordinates activities of pantry, storeroom, and non-cooking kitchen workers, as well as purchases, kitchen supplies, and equipments. Next, we have stewarding supervisor. They will ensure a superior standard for all flatware, tableware, and kitchen equipment in support of our culinary and banquet teams. And lastly, we have stewards. They are the one who assist in keeping a restaurant, bar, or lounge clean and sanitary. They are also the one who assists in cleaning dishes and tends to customers' needs. Once again, we are the group presenting the Food and Beverage Department.
That will be all for today. Thanks for watching and keep safe.